Welcome to this episode of The Sleeping Hour. Tonight, I'll guide you into a peaceful journey aboard a quiet river barge, where the water carries you forward and the world moves at an easy, restful pace. Before the story begins, allow yourself to settle. Notice the surface beneath you. Let your body be supported. Your shoulders can release their weight and start to let any tension from the day drift away. Your arms can rest. Your hands can loosen. The muscles around your eyes begin to ease. Your breathing continues naturally, air arriving and leaving again without effort. There is nothing to solve, nothing to hold, nothing that needs your attention right now. Only this moment, only rest. Your muscles relax further now, softening down through the back of your neck and your shoulder blades, all the way down to your thighs, calves, and eventually you feel looser even to the edge of your toes. And as your body becomes heavier and you relax into the evening, tonight's story begins. You find yourself resting aboard a quiet river barge, moving gently through the countryside. You're seated beneath a shaded canopy on the deck, supported by deep cushions that shape themselves around you. The barge is sturdy, and its wooden deck feels warm beneath the afternoon air. Polished rails run along the sides, smooth from years of care. A small table sits nearby, with a cup of tea resting upon it, steam rising briefly before disappearing into the open air. The river stretches ahead in a calm, winding path. It does not rush. It simply carries the barge forward, bend by bend, beneath a pale sky scattered with light cloud. The sound of the water is barely noticeable, low and steady. A soft movement along the sides of the boat, a quiet rhythm beneath everything else. The barge glides onward, guided by the river's natural current. There is nowhere you need to arrive, no schedule to keep. Only the journey itself. Along the riverbank, tall reeds grow in clusters, their narrow leaves leaning toward the water. Some stand upright, others bend slightly, brushing the surface and creating tiny shifting lines in the reflection. Between the reeds, small wildflowers appear in places. Creamy white blossoms, soft yellow petals, hints of pale violet tucked among the grasses. Nothing looks arranged. Everything grows where it has found space. The dragonfly hovers above the reeds for a moment, its body catching the daylight in flashes of blue and green. It pauses in the air, almost still, then moves away across the river's surface. The barge continues forward. Water gathers in delicate ripples behind it, widening out, then settling again. Ahead, a willow tree leans over the bank, its long branches trailing toward the river, The leaves hang in fine curtains, filtering the view beyond. As the barge passes beneath the edge of its shade, the light changes briefly. Cooler, softer, green tinted for a moment. Then the river opens again. A pair of swans rests ahead on the water. They move with quiet confidence, their white bodies mirrored faintly beneath them. One turns its head, then continues along the current. A little further behind, smaller cygnets follow in a loose line, sheltered between the two adults. They do not hurry. They simply drift as part of the river. The barge gives them plenty of space, passing at a respectful distance. For a while, you watch their reflections ripple gently across the water. Then the swans turn toward the far bank, disappearing near the reeds. The river continues, the barge continues, and you remain settled beneath the canopy, warm and fully supported. You lift your tea and take a small sip. The warmth spreads into your hands first, then through your chest. The flavor is mild and familiar. Nothing strong, nothing sharp, only comfort. Further along, the river curves toward a small village. Above the rooftops, a church tower rises from between the trees. Old stone, a simple clock face, a small spire pointing into the pale sky. Then old stone cottages appear further along the bank, their walls softened by age and weather. Some have small gardens reaching down toward the water. Lavender grows beside low fences. Roses climb around wooden gates. Foxgloves stand tall in sheltered corners, their colours softened by the afternoon light. A narrow path follows the river for a while, empty now, peaceful. A bicycle rests against a garden wall. A small rowing boat is tied to a wooden post, moving slightly where the water touches its side. Near one of the riverside cottages, a small watermill stands beside a narrow stream feeding into the river. Its weathered wooden wheel turns steadily beneath the flowing water, completing each rotation gradually. Moss grows between the stones at its base, and the movement of the wheel feels as though it has been continuing for many years, following the same rhythm through changing seasons and passing days. For a few moments, you watch the water spilling gently over the paddles before the barge carries you onward, and the mill gradually disappears behind the trees. The barge passes without stopping. The village remains behind, as gentle and still as when it appeared. The barge approaches an old stone bridge. Its arch stretches across the water, weathered and moss-lined along the lower edges. The reflection of the bridge forms a rounded shape beneath it, the stone and water creating a quiet circle. As the barge moves closer, the air beneath the arch feels cooler. The sound of water changes slightly, becoming enclosed for a few moments. A deeper hush, a brief shelter. Then the barge emerges on the other side, and the open countryside returns. Fields spread beyond the riverbank. Some are bright with new grass. Others are divided by old hedgerows. A few sheep graze near the far edge of a field, their shapes small and still in the distance. Beyond them, the land rises gently toward rolling hills. The sky remains calm overhead, light cloud drifting across it without urgency. On the right bank, a fisherman sits beneath the shade of a large oak tree. His chair is low and practical. His fishing rod rests angled toward the water. He's completely still, waiting patiently. Beside him, a small bag and flask sit on the grass. Nothing about the scene asks for attention. It is simply there, a patient figure beside the river. The barge passes at a distance, and his reflection briefly stretches across the water before fading into the movement behind you. A few ducks gather further along near a patch of reeds. One dips its head beneath the surface, then rises again with a faint shake of water from its feathers. Another floats with its eyes half closed, carried gently by the river. Their movement is small, easy, part of the day. You watch them for a few moments, then let your gaze soften. The details begin to pass without needing to be held. Inside the barge cabin, just beyond the open doorway, the interior looks warm and inviting. Wooden cupboards line one side. A narrow bed is made neatly with folded blankets and fresh linen. A small lamp rests on a shelf, unlit for now, waiting for later. There are books stacked beside the window, a kettle, a folded map. Everything has its place. Everything suggests care. Though you remain outside beneath the canopy, the cabin adds a sense of safety behind you. A place to retreat if you wished. A warm interior within reach. The deck beneath you feels steady. The cushions continue to support your back and shoulders. Your breathing remains quiet. Your body feels settled. The river continues to carry the barge forward. The water becomes clearer in a shallow stretch. You can see stones beneath the surface, rounded and smooth. Small fish move between them, appearing briefly, then vanishing into shadow. Their movement is delicate and brief. Nothing to follow, only a shimmer of life beneath the surface. Sunlight breaks through a thinner part of cloud and rests across the river for a while. The surface glimmers in broken patches, not bright enough to disturb. Along the bank, broad leaves of water plants gather near the edge. A few water lilies float in a sheltered corner where the current is weaker. Their rounded leaves rest flat on the surface, holding tiny beads of water. The barge passes, and the lilies remain behind, almost untouched. The river widens slightly now. The banks open into meadowland. Tall grasses lean toward the water, and beyond them, fields stretch toward distant trees. A heron stands near the far bank, long-legged and composed. It remains motionless as the barge approaches, then lifts carefully into the air. Its wings open wide. It rises above the reeds and crosses the river with measured grace, heading toward a line of trees further downstream. For a moment, you follow its movement. Then it disappears behind the greenery. The air feels fresh here, open but sheltered by the riverbanks. The canopy above you provides shade, while the chair and cushions keep you comfortable. You feel close to the landscape without being exposed to it, held within the barge, carried by the river, surrounded by a countryside that continues at its own pace. A second bridge appears ahead, smaller than the first. This one is made of old brick, with ivy growing along one side. The barge approaches and passes beneath it, the sound of the water deepening again for a few seconds. Then light returns. The river narrows beyond the bridge, turning through a quieter stretch lined with trees. Branches reach overhead from both sides, creating a natural tunnel. Leaves shift faintly above the water. The reflections of branches ripple beneath them. You sink a little deeper into the cushions. Your hands rest comfortably, your legs feeling heavier. The rhythm of the river and the faint movement of the barge begin to feel almost like breathing. A movement forward, a pause, another movement. No effort, no demand, only continuation. Eventually, the trees begin to thin. The river opens once more beside a row of cottages with gardens sloping down to the bank. One garden has a small wooden bench beneath an apple tree. Another has clay pots arranged beside a path. There are climbing flowers around a doorway. A washing line moves faintly in the air. The barge passes slowly enough for the scene to feel complete, but not so slowly that you need to study it. Everything arrives. Everything passes. Nothing needs to be kept. The church tower is no longer visible now. The fisherman is far behind. The swans have drifted elsewhere. Yet the river remains, always present, always carrying you onward. Your awareness begins to settle inward again. The outside world becomes less detailed. The reeds, bridges, gardens, and fields soften into a wider impression. Water, greenery, open sky, the steady deck beneath you, the cushions supporting you. Your breath continues naturally, in and out. The river moves beside you. The barge glides forward. There is nothing you need to follow, nothing you need to finish. The journey continues without needing your attention. The afternoon remains calm. the sky pale, the water smooth beneath the barge. Somewhere along the bank, reeds brush together. A duck moves through silently, drifting through the shallows. Everything belongs here. Every small movement part of the river's rhythm. You are safe aboard the barge, warm beneath the canopy. The cabin rests behind you. The countryside drifts around you. The water carries you forward. There is nothing more to do now, nothing more to notice. The river continues. The barge continues. The world along the banks becomes softer and less distinct. If sleep comes now, allow it. You do not need to wait for it. You do not need to hold on to these words. They can begin to fade into the background, like the village behind you, like the bridge reflected in the water, like the swans turning toward the reeds. You are supported. You are safe. You are at rest. And as the river carries the barge onward through the quiet countryside, your body grows heavier. Your breathing settles, and you drift easily, peacefully into sleep.